The champ is here.
We will definitely not shut up and dribble.
The champ is here. I must be the greatest. The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man.
Hey, mate.
Yes, he's a DB of the show, and we are Black in Sports, giving a voice to the culture that won't shut up and dribble. Here interviewing the best in the game and in the boardroom, covering it all, laughing at it all, while providing a platform to be heard. So today's show is sponsored by Windermere agent Stacy Connor. Whatever your real estate needs, Stacy's here to help you reach your goals with confidence. Top luxury agent, director of the sports and entertainment division here in Las Vegas. Call her at 702-741-5944 or Stacy Connor at windermere.com. So let's just jump right into it, okay? So when this lady walks in the room, she brings just a great energy and smile, okay? So we're going to tap in, tap in. Yeah,
what?
yeah. Now we got to get the right long title, okay? So Vice President of Premium Service and Guest Experience with the Las Vegas Raiders, we have Qiava Martinez. Let's clap it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I
yes.
like that intro.
Oh, you dang right. Now you got to do it right now.
I need that intro every single day.
Okay. Well, since we started off right with the intro, let's get it starting off with the shoot your shot moment, okay?
Okay.
So this is where you give us a story of a time in life where you just went for it all, bet on yourself. Could have been a win or lose, but a short story. Give it to us.
Ooh, that's a good one. You know what I'm going to say?
Let's hear it.
It's when I started my own teen magazine.
Ooh.
It was called Culture.
Culture magazine.
And I just knew I was going to be the next Oprah.
right off top, huh?
I was like, Oprah, what's up?
Coming for you.
Coming for you.
Okay.
I did that for about 2 years before I went to the Raiders, and I shot my best shot.
All
And
right.
I was able to meet some great people. I sat down with Puffy. I sat down with Dame Dash. And
Okay.
I thought I was well on my way.
Throw
but
your diamonds up. Let's go.
You know?
Take
Nice.
that.
It just...
Bad boy.
Oh, you guys are... I'm going to be laughing all night.
Hey,
But
that's what we're here for.
it just wasn't the time.
Gotcha.
Right? So I shot my best shot. I had a youth board.
Mm-hmm.
Some great people that are still in my life
Oh,
today.
nice.
And I always tell people, I was all depressed and sad when the magazine folded,
Mhm.
but I had one of my youth writers do a story on teen suicide.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So they wrote a story about their cousin committing suicide and how it made them feel.
Uh-huh.
And so we had a teen writer send us a letter saying that they were going to commit suicide, but when they read that article, they decided not to because they didn't think about their family.
Wow.
So I'll take that, right?
Yeah.
If it was just for that short period of time and that person who sent the letter, I'll thank you.
Yeah.
Gee.
We can get more into that a little later, I know, because this is a time of day now where some kids are really struggling with things being virtual. And so, yeah, that's big time. Back to the foundation. Where did your love for sports start?
My papa.
Well, daddy's girl likes my daddy.
That's right.
That's
It's my
what's up.
papa.
Okay, tell him no.
So my dad, amazing man, he went to the University of Nebraska, was an original black shirt, and then was drafted in the second round, second round, to the San Francisco 49ers.
There it is.
And so that's where my love for the game began.
Mhm.
I grew up, I have 7 brothers and 1 sister, and we love all things football and basketball.
Okay.
I wasn't an athlete, so I wasn't that good.
All right.
I didn't have a jumper, but I could definitely tell people what to do. So I guess I'm a coach.
There you go.
There you go.
But
And you're out there around it, so.
I was out there around it. And so my dad, I remember going to training camp. I remember going to the games at Candlestick. I went to the first Super Bowl.
That's big.
I'm aging myself now. Super Bowl 16 when they beat the Cincinnati Bengals.
Mhm.
So I was there, but my love for it was from my father. I tell everyone I had 7 brothers. They all played collegiate sports, but I was the first one to make it to the NFL.
Absolutely. There it is.
What?
Tell them every Christmas.
Yeah.
Every Christmas.
Yeah, I got to the shield.
I got to the shield.
Yeah, no, I love it. So I can imagine the household was very competitive.
Very.
Tell me about that a little bit.
Oh, it's still competitive.
Oh, really?
To
Let's
this
go.
day. We just had Thanksgiving.
You just said it, yeah.
Yeah, just
that's
had
right,
Thanksgiving.
right. Just let them know, too.
And we're like running laps in the house, right?
I'm dead.
So
I'm dead.
we're very competitive, and you better not cry. You better not complain. You just have to suck it up. And my brothers and my sister, they're doing that now to my daughter. She's only 3.
Got to toughen up, girl.
Gotta toughen up.
Ain't no crying. Not in this house.
Not in this house. My sister's teaching her how to fight. My husband's like,
Like,
what are
what's
you
going
doing?
on?
But we're a competitive household, and that nature is what helps me get through the day to day in our organization. So I appreciate that. I know that my brothers and my sister, they're going to tell me like it is. And you need that.
You do.
You need that. So
you need someone to keep it 100 with you.
yeah.
Look from a caring's point of view, right? Because some people just try to.
No, I don't care if it's
you.
caring. I don't.
You don't need-
Just tell me. Just tell me.
Kind of like at the beginning of this show.
I was just about to say that. You told me how it is with my Merlot selection.
Hey,
So.
there's a lot of honesty at the beginning of this show. I wish we should have started the cameras rolling pre-show. But no, it's a good foundation. Starting with good foundation. I mean, your parents, they've had a lot molding in you. So not only the love, but your mom has invested a lot in you guys and we're holding the fort. So shine the light on mom really quick.
My God. How long do we have?
Hey, let's go. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So my mother, she is 72 and she just received a U.S. patent. How many people do you know in this life that gets a U.S. patent?
How many people know what a patent is, right? Like,
Right.
Google it.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Like, that's what's up.
She is a multitasker. She's always helping us start businesses and new ventures and ideas. She is the essence of a businesswoman.
That's awesome.
And I love her to pieces. But a patent?
That's ridiculous.
It is.
But I mean, even just a trailblazer, like you hit us with some stuff, right, to make this fist on this shirt stand up a little stronger, right?
Yeah. So
Definitely.
my mom, she was a Black Panther, the Nebraska chapter.
That's crazy.
My grandmother made her get out when you go back in history and see how the FBI was killing off everybody.
Okay.
So made her get out, but she installed all of the rich history within me. I grew up all over the place when my dad was playing football. I grew up in Sunnyvale, California, Belmont, California. And a lot of times I was the only one who looked like me in my class.
Right.
So when we had to do a history paper, what am I writing about? I'm writing about the Black Panther movement, the Black consciousness movement in Africa. I used to write so much that my teacher told me that I couldn't write about those topics anymore.
Wow.
Really?
And my mom was like, the devil is a lie.
The devil is a lie.
So, I mean, she taught me to, first of all, be proud of who you are and where you came from.
Right.
And I was very proud. Myself and a couple of other kids at Homestead. I'll call out the school, Homestead High School in Cupertino. We started the first BSU there. So I pray that it's still there, but there was only 3 of us.
Right. So it's tough.
So it was tough.
So we celebrate the athletes that's in the game, and sometimes we neglect their families. So
yeah,
growing up, seeing your dad playing the Super Bowl, how was that just being a kid of a professional athlete?
Yeah, I was probably 2. I'm lying. I was older than that.
We'll go with 2. It's your story.
In 1981.
24 months.
I was 24. Right. No, it was, back then it was a lot different,
right.
Because football players back then, they still had to have other jobs as well because they weren't getting paid.
Yeah, salaries are totally different.
Exactly. It's totally different.
Right.
But, I was able to see how my mom handled things.
Yeah.
And how gracious she was and how she kept the home unit together when my dad was out on the road traveling. I mean, at my birth, he wasn't even there. My
Oh,
mom
yeah.
liked to tell me that every birthday, and your dad wasn't there.
Yeah.
I was
you know.
pushing you out, and they were watching the game on TV. But she's a strong woman,
Yeah.
and she was able to do that. But I do see it in other people as well. Like my brother, he's a coach for the Philadelphia Eagles,
Yeah.
and that home life is just so hard when you're at work 24/7 and you're trying to keep the unit together. So my heart goes out to football families, to families in general that, has a person within the unit always working, right? So it's hard. It's tough.
100%.
Imagine.
So back, just kind of the family unit and dynamic, right? So it's a football household, right?
Yeah.
A sports household. We'll just say a sports household. So when you were navigating, saying, okay, I'm ready to go to college and things like that, you went to Berkeley like to become a lawyer. So were you going to start doing contracts, agency work? Like what?
I wasn't even thinking about sports,
Nothing.
right? I went
Okay.
to Berkeley, so
Right.
I was an activist, right?
Yeah.
I was protesting at the Campanile with
But you didn't inhale though, so we won't tell nobody else, right? You didn't inhale. We won't tell nobody.
So, hey, my mom is watching.
Right.
this.
Hey, shout out to my moms. We love you though.
Oh, I love you. So I wasn't thinking about that. I wanted to go do like pro bono stuff that you don't get paid
Paid.
for.
Yeah.
So I was a poli-sci major. I took that to heart, and it's funny how you think you're gonna,
Do
do one thing, and
Yeah.
you end up loving something else more. It's crazy.
Right.
So after college, I went and worked for a law firm in San Francisco for 2 years, and I was like, nah, this isn't for
This
me.
is not that.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
No,
So
not it.
it's like it's a wrap. Now, and we'll get into your career. We're approaching and we're working up towards that. But-
Yep.
So you did some other things, right? So you left that. And is this when you went to help work with your mom, or is this what's that timeline?
Wow, you're good.
This one right
I
here.
love you. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So after I left Morrison and Forster in San Francisco, I ended up working for Youth Achieving Destiny, which was a nonprofit that my parents had started. And what we did was we taught at-risk students how to write a business plan.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
More the entrepreneur kind of. That's dope.
There you go.
That's dope. Okay.
So we would take the ones that, people just threw to the wayside. They thought that they weren't going to graduate.
Right.
And again, these students are still in my life today. They have families of their own now. So
I just got chills. That's awesome.
yeah, love them to pieces. We would do a business plan competition with them, and then we would seed into their business venture.
So dope.
So forgive me if I'm skipping steps. So did that lead to the Culture magazine?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
it did.
So tell me about that. I'm really interested. You started on it, but I'm really
Yeah.
interested to hear more about
Yeah.
it.
So Culture magazine, what it stood for was, everyone has a culture within them, right? And that was the slogan. There's a culture within you. And what are we going to do to help bring that out? That positive culture.
Yeah.
So I would take our youth board to the NAACP awards, the BET awards. We would work the red carpet.
That's fine.
I remember the time that I interviewed Idris, and no one knew it was Idris yet, but I knew it was Idris. Sorry, Jonathan, I love you.
but I knew, God dang it.
But I knew it was Idris. So I had to hold my composure. But
Lovely.
That's funny.
we would do things like that, and they would
Yeah.
interview the celebrities, but at the same time, it was giving them an outlet to be able to write about their life issues.
Yeah.
We also did a program at our church with the same students. It was called Life Hurts, God Heals. So we kind of coupled the two things together, and that's why we still have those relationships today.
Life hurts, God
God
heals.
heals.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man,
Hey.
we can raise an offering.
All right. Message. I mean, we
The
got some
doors of
people.
the-
The doors of the church are open, right? Well, some
Hey.
people are appropriately dressed for that right now, but we ain't gonna. we gonna leave our producer alone, right? We're gonna leave producer alone tonight, man. Wow. Okay, so
Word.
let's just transition. We're gonna get into the career, right? So you've done all these amazing things, And then this is the time, Culture Magazine, you were in a vibe, you were feeling like this was it. Oprah, watch the hell out. I'm coming for you.
Yep.
Coming.
And then it didn't happen.
Right.
And this is how you're transitioning to your career. So tell us about the day that you and the Raiders met. Okay.
So I was at home. I was depressed. I had the whole woe is me thing going on.
Right.
And my brother Johnny called me up and he said, "Hey, I'm going to this career fair that the Sacramento Kings are hosting.
Okay.
You coming?" I'm like, "No."
No, that wasn't a question, right?
No, I'm sad. And he said some words to me, basically in a nutshell, get yourself up and meet me there. Yep. So if you ever saw my brother and when he says something, you get up. So I got up.
Get it.
And I met him down there and I ended up talking to a man named Robert Davis. He was the inside sales manager for the then Oakland Raiders. He and I had a great conversation.
Awesome.
He told me to come down to Alameda and interview. I said, why not? I have nothing else to lose. Interviewed for a $10 an hour job.
Like, this ain't enough. Make it enough.
$10 an hour. Unlimited hours, because back then we were working like overtime.
Yeah.
That laugh.
Yeah.
That laugh has so many other meanings behind it, but we'll keep going. We'll keep going.
But I love that experience that I had,
Right.
One of my main functions was, and I called it parking lot pimping. So at every game, I would go throughout the parking lot trying to upsell half game buyers, single game ticket buyers into a full season.
Okay.
And that's what gave me my sales chops. Sure. And I appreciate that moment. I appreciate everything that I had to go through. Because if you can go into a parking lot and upsell, you know what I'm talking about.
100%. 100%.
And upsell someone from a 3-pack to a half plant into a full season.
Yes. Yes.
No, I salute y'all.
100%. Like, I want to high five you right now. It's COVID.
It's COVID.
But hey, 100% going out there and doing that, man, that's definitely cutting your chops.
So I kind of heard it. I've heard you say that you're an introvert.
Yeah.
Actually. So how does an introvert go into those parking lots and get that done?
You are all in your head. You just have to do it. You force yourself. Like, I'm sitting here. It's comfortable with you guys right now because I know you.
Right.
But, these things I usually hate doing, but I make myself do it. Right. And so that's what you do. And then you end up having great conversations with people and you get to know a little bit about them and
build that relationship.
You're not a used car salesman, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's some people's problems, but we won't get into that.
So you come in, part-time sales, not a job that you really wanted, $10. So how did you navigate, right? Because like usually when we say, hey, when I grow up, I want to be whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of start seeing what that track or that path looks like. So how did you navigate what was next for you?
So what I did is I gave myself some goals.
Okay.
I said, I'm only going to do this for 3 months. And I'm out.
Deuces. Right.
But I had such a great manager in Robert Davis.
Okay.
He guided me.
That's key.
He sat me down and he said, hey, I see something special. He took off the guidelines for me. He was like, do what you do. So
that's rare.
I saw that they didn't have a group sales program. So I started calling all of my nonprofit contacts. And I said, hey, if you bring a group of 20 out, I'll give you $5 for every ticket. Of course, I got approval before I did it. And that was the beginning of the fundraising program and our group sales program.
Fantastic.
And they promoted me in 2 months.
Yeah. So I saw you say you kind of work with the youth groups, and that was one of the ones you started off with.
Yes, Miles. Can I come work with you?
Anytime. Anytime. But back to the Culture magazine, was that kind of it's sometimes it's hard to see like the vision of the steps kind of ordered.
Yeah.
I don't want to get
No, do it.
It is
Get it.
It
Do
is
it.
Wednesday night, so somebody's at Bible study somewhere.
I was
But
before I came in here.
We missing. Hey, Pastor Randall, we're sorry.
Correct.
We're missing Bible study.
But we understand how the steps are ordered.
Yes.
So did you? Maybe not then at the time you saw that vision, but how you see it now, how it kind of worked out?
It's crazy. I see it now,
Mm.
right? Because if I never would have made my way to that job interview, that career fair,
Yeah.
I would have never met Robert Davis. I would have never met Jonathan Martinez.
Oh, shout out J Mar.
And I would have
What
never
up,
had
J-Mar?
Harper Martinez.
Right.
Yes,
So,
yes.
I mean, that's the joy. And it's crazy because I was thinking this today.
Okay.
All the things that I prayed for, I see.
Mm.
And that's the amazing part of it. God, you can get me in here crying, Miles.
Nah, I don't.
Don't do that.
We go to the $12 Merlot. I'll calm it down.
Wow. All right.
Oh,
So
I love that.
no,
I love that.
that's great to see that. So with that, now, you working your way up your ranks, and one of the things you mentioned early on, just in life that we really embody, is when you're going through school, there wasn't a lot of people that
Yeah.
looked like you.
Yeah.
So as an executive,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're seeing that. So how
Yeah.
do you kind of cope with that, deal with that? What's that push pull feel like, and what are maybe some tools that you can offer, others that are looking to work up those ranks?
The tools that I would offer,
Mhm.
I'll start with that one
Okay.
first, is, making sure that you're true to yourself and you don't change who you are.
That's a tough one.
It's a very tough one. When you walk into a room where you're the only one, it's hard to stay true to who you are.
That's a tough one.
But you're who you are for a reason, right? God created you for who you are.
hmm
And if you try to put that down, which I did earlier in my career.
Right. It's almost
You
like we're
know?
forced to, or we feel like we're supposed to.
Yes.
We're not forced to. We feel like we're supposed
We
to.
feel like we're supposed to.
hmm
And at the Raiders organization, I mean, I wouldn't be there today if it weren't for Mark Bedane and, Mark Shear. There was a time in my career where I wouldn't even braid my hair.
Facts. Something as simple as that.
It's something as simple as that.
But people don't get that, and that's a real thing.
Exactly. So I would say stay true to who you are.
Mhm.
Make sure you connect with others, not just with others that look like you,
Right.
but others that don't look like you. Connect and create that network of people that you can lean on and you can bounce questions off of and ideas and all of that great stuff. So for me, when I would walk into a room earlier in my career, that little voice inside my head
Okay.
would start talking. Don't speak. Someone's going to talk about how you say a word.
Right.
You don't know what you're talking about. Everyone's smarter than you,
Right.
and you're struggling. You're in a meeting struggling with your inner self. And, it takes time to make that thing shut up. Right.
Yes.
And so that's how it was for me in the beginning. And then someone would say something and you're like, dang, I was going to say that. Man, I was going to say that. Or even still, someone would say something and you would say, God, they said it way better than I did. So it's that doubt
That
within.
that imposter syndrome. It's
Yes.
real. It's a tough one.
It's a tough one. And it still sneaks up every now and then.
Got you.
It does.
Yeah, because you're an introvert.
I love how you
right.
guys keep doing that.
Man, that's the rumor.
Allegedly.
But
no.
how do you build up the confidence
That's a
to
good
do
one.
that? How do you do that?
That is a good one. How I build up the confidence is, for the things that I did not know, I like finance. Okay.
Mhm.
In
That's a big
my
part
in
of it.
my position, I should, know what I'm talking about when it comes to numbers and stuff
Right.
like that. So prior to getting to where I am now, I would go and do Excel classes. In Oakland, we had a partner called Learn It where we could go to the city and do classes there. It was doing all of those self,
Yeah.
Enhancement or
enhance,
investment.
thank
Yeah,
you
yeah.
things
Yeah.
for me to start. Yeah, you do know what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's the hardest thing to kind of I use this as a football term, like self-scout, like learn yourself kind of in a way.
Yeah.
And because you're your hardest critic as well, too,
You're
right?
your hardest critic.
Right.
But then, sometimes it helps when you never know who's watching you.
That part.
Right? You never know who's watching you. So when you're always holding yourself to the highest standard and you're doing the things to better yourself, someone's going to pay attention.
That's facts. So, all right. So from Oakland to Las Vegas, right?
Yes.
Man, there's so much. All right. How was the transition and what are you most excited for? Because everything's got put on pause. Everybody was really excited for 2020. I mean, all that stuff. But just talk about, it can be, positives or maybe some negatives, but just talk about that transition. Because Miles and I always talk about NFL teams are not meant to move. So it's different.
It's definitely different. I didn't think that I was going to like it out here, and I love it. When we found out that we were moving to Las Vegas,
he's like, miss me with that, huh?
I was actually on maternity leave. And I was like, oh no, I'm not going.
It's a wrap.
And there's 2 jobs because, my husband works there too. And so it's like, I'm just so happy. I love it out here. And I think that the thing I'm most excited about, and it may sound cliche, but it's true because every time I drive past that stadium, and especially tonight when I drove past and you see it all lit up, it's beautiful. And it's just like coming from the Coliseum.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Coming from the Coliseum. Right?
What's that smell?
Oh, yeah.
No,
for real. It's just, I'm really excited for the people, especially the people who purchased 3 years ago. I'm really excited for them to be able to step foot in and cheer the team on, and just hearing the loudness within the building. It's a gorgeous place, and everyone who had a part of that did such a fantastic job.
No, it's amazing.
So I'm really excited for that.
It's good stuff.
I don't want to turn this into a TED talk, but you got so many nuggets.
Aw.
About just team building, right? You've built teams from multiple teams. So what's your process in the team building?
I love that question, Miles, because, it's a team, number one, right? Just because I oversee it doesn't mean that I'm like, right? It's a team, and you have to allow people the opportunity to grow. I tell my team, if you're not coming for my seat, I don't want you.
That's deep. I like it.
I don't want you. I want you coming for my seat.
Yeah.
And what can I do to get you there?
To help you grow.
To help you go.
That's awesome.
Right? Because someone did it for me.
That's a blessing.
Right? Yeah. Someone did it for me. So not only was it Robert Davis, it was my other manager at the time, Jared Dillon. They just won a championship ring. I'm so jealous. The hockey, what's the Florida hockey team?
The Panthers?
The Lightning.
The Lightning.
Is that what it's
Tampa
called?
Bay Lightning?
That's 2 Florida teams, so that's why I was like, the Panthers and the Lightning.
Control, Alt, delete one of them.
Right. We'll get it. Process of elimination. We got that mug, right?
Right.
It wasn't the Golden Knights, so we don't give a shit right now.
Them over there. Them downstairs.
Where the milk and cookies is. So, speaking of rings then, okay, so your dad and your brother have a ring. So is that their comeback to you on Thanksgiving?
You know what? And you brought that up.
You brought up championships. I wasn't even thinking about it. You brought up championships.
Yes, it hurts me. We're competitive like we figured out earlier.
Right.
My dad has a ring. My brother has a ring. They took pictures with their rings when my brother had his ring.
Oh, they do that. The Power, was it the Unite? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, right?
Yes.
They do you like that? Oh, we got to get that one.
We need a ring.
No, absolutely. All right, so with just your career, right? You've had just an amazing kind of grab on things. Are you thinking about incorporating that or just getting back in the community?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's so big from just organically for you. And you haven't probably been able to get into it with COVID. So is that something you're looking forward to?
Yes. So when I came out here, I met a lady who worked for Teach for America.
Mm.
And I did some things with them. I went over to one of the local schools and did a session with one of the classrooms there.
That's dope.
But my mom and my niece, they're working on a new venture, a new nonprofit. Can't give too much information on it.
Oh, we can't give the exclusives? We got to have the exclusives going on here.
So, like I said earlier, my mom is a very busy woman.
Mm-hmm.
So she's working on getting that solidified. And
you have to share that their parents are here in town, right?
Yes,
Yeah, so
they came out here. Yeah. So my parents, they sold their home in California and they followed us out here. They really followed my daughter, but that's okay.
They want to follow God grandbaby.
But then my sister just bought a place out here too. So I'm really happy. So now we got to get everyone else out to Vegas, working on that one.
Well, we know your cousin comes out here often. They tap in, boy.
That's my niece.
Or your niece, whatever it is. And she comes out here.
Her middle name is Qiava.
I saw that. Spelled differently.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we won't talk about that.
Really?
Her mama, who's my friend, spelled the name wrong.
She putting extra E's and hyphens and apostrophes.
But it's Qiava.
But I was going to ask that. So it's homage to you.
Yes.
Okay. There it is.
Yes.
All right. Let's jump into these quick hits.
Yes.
All right. So quick hits sponsored by Thick Fit. So when it comes to your health, it starts in the kitchen. Thick Fit Meal Prep is here to help you along the way in your journey. Thick Fit Meal Prep, they're easy on the go, can fit anyone's schedule and lifestyle. Call 702-850-3388 or follow them on Instagram, Thick Fit Meal Preps. All right, what you got, Miles?
The Wood or Love and Basketball? Yeah, but which one is better?
I just watched The Wood the other night. But I have to go with Love and Basketball.
Wow.
I have to. Me and my sister do the part all the time. I bet you can't kick like this.
Okay, because of that part.
Because of that part.
I'll take that.
We'll take that. No, that's what's up.
You mentioned somebody earlier, but first time, if ever, that you were starstruck.
Mary J. Blige.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, the queen.
That is. Jay, you hear that? Mary J. Blige. My boy Jay don't like Mary J.
What?
Tell him. He don't. I don't know.
What?
He doesn't.
Oh.
We won't get into it, Jay. I know you're gonna hear that, bro.
Okay.
Jay, we need to have an intervention, man.
Correct.
A strong one.
Facts.
Everybody, we all disappointed in
everybody got the whole move.
Everybody on the show like, listen, man, who's this Jay dude? Right?
Come on, Jay.
What episode was Jay?
All right. Since we're in the holiday, what would be your favorite holiday movie?
This Christmas.
Okay, I like that movie too. Social things on social. Maybe the craziest thing that has been mentioned to you, or craziest thing that's happened on social. That's appropriate, I guess.
The craziest thing. Okay, Jonathan just showed me this guy. He's from Oakland, and he has this T-shirt that he's selling. The Lost Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, that is.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I do not.
Are you serious? This one.
Look it up.
That is.
That's stupid.
It is.
Okay.
But funny.
Yeah, it is funny. That was it. That's good.
That's it?
Yep, that's my 4-1.
Okay. I want to add one. What is your favorite wine so we get it right next time?
That is a good one.
Because what we poured up didn't make the cut barely. So what is your favorite wine? You like cabs, right?
I love cabs.
So what's your vineyard of choice?
Anything Napa. Because
Anything Napa.
I just learned.
Are you Regency biased over there a little bit?
No, I am.
Okay.
So I just learned from
She's like, yes.
our in-house sommelier that we will have at the stadium in the suites only.
Oh.
She told me that because I like oaky wines, that it's the region for me. So any cab that comes out of Napa is what I would prefer.
Yeah. Do you have a year?
I don't know.
You went, see, we was here. It's like a year. What's your year?
It's 2014 actually.
Why?
For Cavs.
Is that a good year?
It just good to me.
Hey, were the grapes good that year?
I don't know the history behind what happened in Napa at 2014, but whatever happened, I don't know. A Cab, the little age to the Cab right there, it makes it right. I'm a Cab. I like Cab too.
Yeah.
I like Cab too. Merlot was tonight just because I'm in a Merlot mood, but I like Cab too.
Moving on.
We can talk a lot about wine. That's one of my little.
Well, I mean,
Really?
D-Wade, you have your own line, right?
Oh my gosh, you do look like D-Wade.
I
Yeah, I just saw it when you
Appreciate
look
it.
down.
Anyway, so the winners, while y'all debate,
Qiava, let's go. Move, man.
so the winner's circle, all right, is provided by Nevada Grow. All right. So Nevada Grow provides a platform, all right, for businesses. All right. So let's empower, grow, and provide the right data, the right decisions, and the right connections. Nevada Grow's small businesses want to help small businesses here in Nevada Grow. All right. So this is the platform, the Winner Circle. We love to talk about what you have going on, get in depth and just outside to get to know the person. And, one of the things you want to share with us is just your love for writing.
Yeah.
And that recently you just really got back into it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess this is a perfect time, but what brought you back into it?
Yeah, I think what got me back into it was the time that I have now, right? Working from home, and I don't care what anyone says, you're not that busy working from home, right? We have our virtual meetings throughout the day, but you still have a little bit more time than you would than you would have in a normal circumstance.
Right.
So I got my notebook out and I just started writing, different life experiences
Okay.
that got me to doing it. So when I was younger, when I lived in Belmont, I was 10 years old.
Okay.
And when I would go out and hang out with my friends, their moms would always say, "Oh, Qiava, you're so pretty for a black girl. You're so pretty for a black girl." And I always thought that was a compliment,
Right.
right? And so my mom always told me, "You need to write that book. You need to write that book." And it just always went over my head.
Okay.
And then with this current environment that we're in, I just started putting the pen to the paper and I wrote a children's book
Oh,
called
wow.
Pretty for a Black Girl. So now we just need to get to the next step with that. And it's an empowering one because we shouldn't let the words that people say affect us, right? We should let it motivate us. And at a young age, not knowing what that meant, it wasn't until I got older that I was like, oh,
Right.
that's not a compliment.
100%.
So, yeah, I started writing about those experiences
That's
along with some other things. So,
So a children's book, that's amazing because it's really a push. I've spoke to a lot of guys, and parents that when they're looking to get that stuff, it's not readily available.
no,
There's not a large collection.
no,
Like there's no Dr. Seuss for black,
no.
images or things like that.
Right.
So
There's no Disney princess
no Disney-
except for the one that was from New Orleans.
oh,
I don't know which princess name she is. I'm not into all the princesses.
you got that one.
Do you know, Miles?
She's still a little young, so I haven't got
You,
on
you
those.
haven't gotten.
Tiana. Yep.
Okay.
Tiana.
That's perfect to be a Disney princess thing. But that's something totally different. But so, all right, so you're gonna make a series out of this, or what your thoughts with
Yeah,
it? I mean, because that's amazing.
I do.
That's awesome.
I do. Yes. Yes.
And is it kind of based from your childhood, or
Yes.
what's the perspective? Yeah.
It's my childhood, and then the series that I'm currently working on
Mm-hmm.
is my daughter and my nephew Juju.
That's
So
what's
it's
up.
Harper and Juju, right?
Nice.
Those two, when they get together, if you just
love it.
watch them,
Mhm.
it's crazy.
It's
so
a story itself. You
it's
just
a
sit-
story
you just sit back and
itself.
be like,
Yes.
that's dope.
Yeah.
Now, with the writing as well, is a magazine maybe make a return?
Maybe
Yeah.
it does.
Because I mean, just with how you help people,
Yeah.
it was, and I forget who we had on now, but I think that writing things like podcasts, like we're doing, it's a really great expression
Yeah.
and an outlet that you know, and I was sharing with you before the
Yeah.
show, and I don't think you would mind me sharing this, but we talked about how this was therapy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't.
I mean,
It is.
it's just to come, you know, get out here and, you know, to speak about like what's going on. There's a lot of things that were heavy on your hearts and just what was going on in the world. So to be able to communicate that and work with that, you know, I think I'm pushing to see that, unless that's what you and your mom and your niece are working on. You just didn't want to drop the exclusive here, you know, let Clue drop the bomb on it. But no.
We'll come back and drop the exclusive.
Okay, there it
love
is.
it.
How about
There's-
that?
But no, I just would
Yeah.
love to see that, and, you know, just kind of getting back with getting ingrained with the community to see if that's something that you guys can start up here.
I would love to do that because I feel as though when I was involved in the community, it just does something for you personally, right? Being able to help others, it's a reward that is like none other.
Yeah, giving is a selfish act.
Yeah.
Because you feel the reward or the glow from it as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of rewards, motherhood. I gotta hear about
Oh
motherhood.
my gosh. It's the best thing and
Okay.
sometimes the worst thing. I mean, I'm amazed. The thing about being a mother, I realized how much my mother loves me. You know, I knew she loved me, but now that I have a daughter, I understand. You know, when my mom wouldn't let me go to the party and I was 12, right? I understand.
Right.
When she didn't let me walk out the house in biking shorts. Now everybody wearing biking shorts. You know, it's the thing to do. I understand, right? Because there's no love like a mother's love, right?
No.
And so I'm really blessed and I'm honored that, you know, God chose me to be Harper's mother. And it's one of the best things ever.
So Kamala Harris being the elect VP.
Yeah.
How does that make? I mean, you've been a groundbreaker from the start. So,
Trailblazer.
yeah. So how's that make you feel?
Like anything's possible,
Yeah.
right? There shouldn't, your color shouldn't hold you back. Your gender shouldn't be able to hold you back, you know, by seeing her. And you know what? I have a great story. So I was in the Las Vegas airport maybe 2 years ago or a year ago. That's when I had to travel back and forth from Oakland and blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
I saw her in the airport.
Really?
And Jonathan was like, why didn't you get a picture? No one knew who she was. We made eye contact and she had maybe 3 security guards with her. They were in their suits. And we made eye contact and I said, hi. She smiled back, hello. And I had Harper. Missed opportunity. I could have posted that all on social media.
Yeah, you could have got your likes all up with that one.
Right.
But you touched on something, and this is going way back. But you said it earlier in another interview that I listened to with you. You said the power of just saying hi, introducing yourself, make yourself.
Yeah, we don't do that.
We don't do that.
That's horrible.
Can you talk a little bit more about kind of the power of just saying hello, making yourself known in a room?
Yeah, it's very powerful because that one moment that you say hello to someone, you don't know what that person is going through.
Yeah.
Right? You have no idea what it took for them to get into that same room.
Right.
So just that look in the eye and the hello, I learned that from my parents. You know, first of all, Black people, we are really bad at speaking to each other. And it's you know, I can say
so
hello
bad.
to you.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want anything. You can say hello back to me and I know you're not trying to talk to me. Right? It should just always
I
be
agree.
like a respectful
But
thing.
see, that's the thing. I differ from that, right? Because
I
I
agree.
think it's a West Coast thing. Because
yeah.
in the Midwest, like you would always get the head nod, like
Yes,
just
you're
so
right.
we would know, like, yo, if something go down, we cool, like, yep, head nod, keep it moving. Like
Yeah.
it was always was speaking. So when I moved out here, what up? And brother would just look at you like stone face. I'm like,
You're
damn,
right.
cuz. So I think that part is definitely
And my dad being from Ohio and my mom being
Shout
from
out to Ohio.
Nebraska.
Yeah.
So
Toledo.
Toledo,
Scott
that's where he's
represented.
from.
Yeah, I went to school in Findlay, so I was right up the road from. I
Wait,
know
oh,
about.
so you kn-
I know Toledo.
Oh, my
I play with a whole bunch of
goodness.
guys from Scott. They are.
That's where my papa went.
Yeah, they're the most. They're the most.
You're right. You might be right about that.
I think
yeah.
it's a East Coast kind of Midwest kind of as you start
Yeah.
going through. It's different because that was the biggest thing that was different for me when I moved out here to the West.
Well, my mom used to always say that because I grew up in Colorado.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
she was like, y'all funny out here. Like they don't say hey back. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, my mom country, so that's probably what it was.
And it's not
country.
just, when you see another black person walking down the street, just common courtesy. You see anyone
Anybody,
walking down
yeah.
the street, just say hello.
Yeah.
People like do the head down thing to like, or hit you with the I'm on the cell phone. Just
Well, I'll text nobody in a minute.
Like that new meme that's out there. Like, man, they don't know I wrote a poem in my notes right now. I ain't talking to nobody.
In a minute, boy.
Just say hello.
So, back to just kind of speaking, do you speak or open up to a lot of people? Like where are you at with, mentors in your life, which you spoke that like a lot of your bosses were influential. Where are you at seeking mentors and then being available to not even just females, just other people?
Yeah, I'm definitely available.
Yeah.
I say that though to be very clear.
Okay.
Right? You can't always just
Take everybody.
Right? Only the strong. No. The ones that are serious, right? You want to make sure you could always give back, but you also have to be smart too.
So what's a proper approach then? So people know, like, because that's I think the where they go wrong, right?
Yeah.
They hear like, oh, I'm supposed to have a mentor, and then they just call you, and then you're like, man, what are you calling me for?
Exactly.
So
yeah.
How do people reach out to you? How about that part?
A lot of people reach out through LinkedIn, or they just shoot me an email. But other times when people hear like a podcast or, if I was on a panel or something, they would reach out and say, hey, I really enjoyed what you said. This part really spoke to me. I was wondering if you can give me some feedback on this. So they're not straight out saying, hey, can you be my mentor?
Right.
It takes time. It's like a relationship, When I always say, Jonathan, when you saw me, you liked me. But it took time for him to build a relationship with me to be able to say, hey, do you want to go to the movies?
Jay slow played that joint,
yes,
boy.
he did.
Gotta plan game plan. We talked about that last episode.
Absolutely. Gotta have a game plan.
Yeah. So, and that's the same thing. You can't you don't know me. So you might, while you're talking to me, might find out that I'm not the right one for you.
Yes.
So it's build that relationship first and then let it grow to that.
So you've spoken a lot of panels. With the last one, what was the last? Because everything's been shut down. It's not like we've had. Was it the sports? Was it why am I drawing a blank?
I don't remember. But you know what I'm really excited about? On Friday, I am on a virtual panel.
Okay.
It's through the NFL, and it's for HBCUs. Yeah. So the
Really?
the NFL is doing, about this.
I do.
So they asked me to be a part of it. So I'll be in a virtual room.
Dope.
Where I'll speak about, sales and service and, what it takes to get into the industry. So I'm really excited about this one.
Yes,
I don't remember the last panel, but I'm excited about this one.
Well, that doesn't matter. We're moving forward in life. No, so definitely. Is that something that's shareable? Is it only for like NFL or how's that? So we can promote and share that?
Yeah, so it's only through the NFL.
Okay.
At this point. It's invite only. So they've worked with a couple of HBCUs, and you probably can speak to it more than I can, Miles. But so the students, it's usually in person.
Yep.
This is the first one that's virtual. And so I don't know how many schools they've reached out to, but the NFL has some building to do on that as well. So
there's a lot of building. But we get there.
It'll
happen in time. So this time, pandemic time, we've had a lot, and I was just thinking this on the way over here. It's funny how you'll make time for what's important to you.
Yeah.
And obviously, you got back to one of your foundations in writing. What are some other things during this time that you like? Obviously, your husband and your children. But what are some other things that you get into? Like, okay, this is what I know is important to me.
Yes, relationships. Relationships with my siblings, my parents. Number one, with God, right? Because we can be so busy throughout the day that we don't do the first things, right? What should we do? The first thing that's what I'm working towards. Because there was a time in my life where, I was that praise and worship leader at church. I was doing Sunday school and Bible class.
Right.
What happened? Right. The world, the time, and all of the other things I let get ahead of the things that I love. Right. And if you love them, then you might as well get back to it. So that's what I'm working towards, those relationships. I have a host of nieces and nephews. Unfortunately, you can go a couple of months without speaking to any of them.
Right.
And I don't want that to happen. I just lost a nephew last year. Yesterday, it's been a year since we lost him. And I don't want that to ever happen again. So just building on those relationships and making sure that foundation is strong.
I love it.
All right. Anything else for the good of the church?
I love it. I done been convicted tonight.
No, and you do a great job with relationships. I mean, just even starting off, like it organically and naturally came out and everything you're talking about, the fact that you still have those connections with the kids that were, in the magazine and in the groups that you helped out and that you still talk to them, that's a testament to you and just like your authentic self of like really caring and want to see the best of people. And you've always had that. Like that's kind of how we started with, when you walk in the room, people are excited because they have that general authentic connection with you. So give you those flowers.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. So
I'm not good all the time, though.
Hey, long as it's good around me, that's all I care about.
Thank you.
Let the other people worry about the other shit, right? So, all right. Even though you've been doing it, this is a part of the show where we like to call the assist.
Okay.
So this is where you get to put your coaching hat on, right? And you get to drop a coaching gem. So maybe a life philosophy, something you live by, a quote or something like that. So so drop us that gem. Give us that coaching assist.
You know what I think I'm gonna say? Everyone is not going to climb the mountain with you. The mountain that you climb, some people are going to get tired. Some people are going to fall off. Some people are going to think you crazy. Your mountain is not for everyone.
Preach. Hold on, where did that come from?
It just came out of me.
Oh, Lord. Jesus. Or did it come out of that cup that you got going on?
Oh, that Merlot.
Man. That's amazing.
That is.
That's a great gem to live by.
Yeah.
Because your journey's not for everybody.
Your journey is not for everybody. I took that a year ago.
Okay.
A lot of stuff happened a year ago. There was a person on my staff that I loved, that I mentored, that I brought into my family, and they weren't meant to come up this mountain with me. And things happened that made me sad and like, wow, this really happened. This was like, this is my right-hand man, right? And everyone's not meant to come up the mountain. So that example showed me that sometimes you got to climb alone. And that's not a bad thing.
And it's tough too.
Yeah.
Especially like you said, when you bring them in. And I think that was, something that we all maybe I continue. I'm going to talk to me like when you have to say that this road, I can't travel with you anymore.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
It's a hard one. It doesn't feel good.
Jeez.
But it's necessary sometimes.
But it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
Sometimes it is.
Because when you look back, and now that I look back, I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay, God. I see you.
And it might even been necessary for that person, too.
Exactly.
Right, on the other end.
For them to get where they need to go, right?
Correct.
No,
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's go. Reverend MH.
I'm telling you, right? That 2017 Merlot. 2014 Cabernet.
I love it.
Napa.
14, 15. Jeez.
Right in that range. When you do your hand like this, that's when you know what you're talking about. Yeah, right in that range. That one right there.
That one right there. Right there. All right. Well, hey, I hope you enjoyed the show.
Wait, it's over?
Well, I mean, yes. I'm so. Producer, can we keep it going? Well, what do you got on your head and your heart?
No, I really enjoyed myself.
Whoa. Like, she's like, wait a minute. Pause.
I feel like we've only been up here for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
I guess so.
Time flies when you're having fun. Well, you got something on your heart you want to share. Is there anything else you want to share? You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
No,
For the
I
church,
just
you good?
appreciate it.
Yeah, I've been convicted. Yeah. Come on home. It's an author.
Listen, the doors of the church are open.
That's right.
All right. So, hey, listen, it's been a blast.
Oh.
Give us all your social stuff too. And I know you're not crazy on there, but give us how we can contact you.
Sure. I'll make sure to check them now, especially Twitter. I don't know the last time I logged on. Okay. So Twitter is QHarp23.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan. Hello. Instagram is QHarp, the number 2, Mart. Because I was Qiava Harper, then I turned into Qiava Martinez.
There you go.
Is there anything else?
You're on LinkedIn.
Oh.
Just your name, right?
Just my name.
There it is.
EJ, he looks disappointed in me. He's like, how are you not up on social media?
I get it.
Hey, if you had took that picture with Kamala Harris, you would have been back on social media.
I know.
But we'll get you up there. We'll get you up there. All right. You good now? Okay.
I am.
Okay. You good? Anything for the church,
I'm
MH?
good. I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
Jay, producer man, you got something to say? Everybody?
I've been blessed.
I'm going to just record as soon as we end because everybody's going to go off. It's been one of those shows. I hope you had as much fun as we had tonight. We want to thank you, our guests. Want to hand clap, give you your flowers for, not only what you do for the community, but what you've done and touched lives. So continue to do that.
Thank you.
And however we can support you. And thank you, the listeners, for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. If you would like to become a sponsor, please reach out. For additional content, please check us out on The Locker Room. We drop those every Tuesday, exclusive short formats. Just remember, please stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap.